Welcome back to another episode, Talks with AJ podcast. I'm your host. Today I have a special guest. She's a great mom, she's a good wife, she's my best friend, and she's also my advisor as well. Allow me to introduce to you.
Hello. Poise underscore with underscore style and grace 22. Thank you for having me, brother.
It's a pleasure to have you, sis, man. This has been a long time coming. Man, I'm so happy you here with me. I know a lot of people going to be like, oh, my God.
Right.
Hey, he got twin on there with him.
I know it's been 3 years since the class reunion, since we've actually been together on camera, so I'm happy to be here with you. But before we get started, as you can see, I came prepared for you. You're not a drinker. I know. But I had to grace you today for allowing me to be here with you. So I came with you. So we're going to toast today.
Okay, I appreciate it.
You know, you don't drive a Lambo. However, you're on the fast track to success. So let's do it, bro.
Thank you, sis.
Let me toast to you, my guy. Thank you again for having me. Love you, bro.
Love you too, sis. Appreciate it.
How about that?
Thank you,
that?
sis. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
blessing me.
Let's go.
You. Okay, so today's topic, we're going to be discussing the importance of having a father figure, a man in the household. So, and me and you, we always have these late night conversations,
For sure.
And you always, drop gems on me on why it's important. So I'm going to let you go ahead and embrace the floor, sis. Go ahead and take off, man.
Okay. So for one, we'll start off with the importance of the reason why, right, of having a male in the household for sure. The protection, having someone there to protect you. Okay, let me just go back. To tell you guys about this guy right here. Okay, this guy, right? So I was a troubled youth, we'll say that. Well, not so much so, but as young women, we tend to think we know it all per se. But because of my brother, although we didn't have my dad in the household with us, he was present. We knew who our dad was. But having my brother in the household, this guy right here, it was like, I'm not going to say I hate my brother because that's like such a strong word, but it was like a love and hate relationship sort of, because it was like this guy was always trying to tell me what to do. And he was like, he had me on lock. I remember although, again, like I'm saying, like, although he wasn't my dad, but he was that positive role model, male figure in the household. I remember like days when I used to go to the park and sundown, my brother would be pointing like, go home. And I'm just like, and it's just funny, like the role that he played, because even now, I remember most recently, I have met someone like from years. Well, I ran into someone rather from years ago. And he was saying, oh man, I remember, man, your brother didn't play. I remember like how he used to like be checking people about you and stuff like that. And I'm like, yep, that's that guy. And he's like, how he doing? I'm like, he's still good. He's good. And I see also too with like how he is even so with like his girls. Like how protective he is with his daughters. And I'm proud of him because of, the man that he has become. Because from the start, this guy was not the guy he is today. He was like, let's put it like this. In comparison, I don't know if you guys ever watched Baby Boy. Not Baby Boy. It was Baby Boy,
Baby
right?
Boy.
With Tyrese, right?
Yeah, Baby Boy.
Okay. He was the Jody and Baby Boy. So I'm proud of the person that he has become. He wasn't Jody in the sense where he had like all these baby mamas. He just had two girls. That's it. He stopped there. And his girls are well. They're thriving. One who graduated from college and one who's still in college. So I give him that. So now, again, like I said, his importance, the role that he played in my life, as a male figure. Now, I'm not talking to all males. I'm just saying the ones that are positive, ladies, the positive male role models, Go ahead, brother.
I appreciate the love, sis. I really appreciate you on that. just I think it's just important, with a man just being present because, like you said, we there to protect. We're not there to. It's not. We're not there to like lock you down. We just because one thing about men, we have a sense of awareness, right?
Of
We can
course.
sense danger. We it's just those type of things, because remember how mom used to always say to us, especially when we were coming up, mom used to always say,
Fuck yon kaigen garçon.
Yeah.
Translated, a
Translated.
house must have a male.
a male, a house must have a male
Man.
figure.
A man.
Right. Mom used to always say that to us, and that was very important and stuff. And I also like sis used to call me Tracy from the Wood. Was that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. This guy for sure was Tracy from the Woods. Okay,
The movie Woods.
for sure. He
Right.
was definitely that
Right.
guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And look, man, and I tell every male, if you have a younger sister or daughter, protect your sisters, man.
For sure.
Even though they may think they know it all, but protect your sisters, man.
For sure.
Give them some advice. But let's really let's dive deep into this thing,
Of
sis.
course.
So why do you say it's important to have a male figure in the household, especially when you have young children?
Okay, I'll say this. Like for myself, I'm married, right? I have 3 beautiful children with my husband. And I see the difference like when I speak to the kids, especially to my young son. Well, my son is the youngest of the 3 that I have. I see the difference like when I speak to my son versus when my husband speaks to my son. Like I could say to my son, Micah, stop. And then he'll like, goof around. He'll take me seriously, but I have to say it maybe once or twice or give him that stare. That mom stare, that, the stare moms give to, check yourself. But when his dad speak, like, it's just Micah. And he's just like, and they also, like, I see other things, in terms of, like, my husband, he doesn't like, kids walking with their feet on the floor. I myself, too, I don't like that. I just, we didn't grow up like that. I don't like putting my feet touching the ground. So it's like, when it's me, just me, they'll walk around barefoot, no problem. But when daddy comes, you see everyone scattering to go pick up their shoes to place on their feet and stuff like that. So, I see like the difference. Now, I'm not taking away from like, the single moms out there who's doing their thing or whatever. But all I'm simply saying is it's always a positive, to have a male in the household, a positive role, a male role model in the household. It's simply all that I'm saying. Okay. So
Yeah, and I could dig it, sis. I can really dig
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
And like I told you on our way here, before I left the house, I asked my youngest daughter, Rabbit, I said, sweetie, let me ask you a question. I said, what is the importance of having a male figure in the household? And she said 2 things. She said safety and order.
facts.
And I was like, wow, I was taken
Facts.
back because she's a 21-year-old, 21-year-old young girl, and she know the importance of having a man in the household.
Facts.
Right? And I also experienced that with you, sis, what you just said. I can piggyback off of that. Like I could come over to your house and the kids, they'll just be la la la, running all over the place.
Yeah.
And when your husband come, when Mitch show up, they like tighten up.
Right.
Right. Kylie will run to her room, try to straighten it out.
Right.
Because dads, we establish order.
Exactly.
Right. It's not that it's not like I don't want to say a dictatorship, but we establish order. We bring
Right.
like a different
That male
balance.
presence.
That male presence. We
Right.
bring a different balance to the household. Right.
Right.
So that's why when I hear women say that they can do it by themselves, I'm like, look, you can't do it by yourself.
Agreed.
Just because your mama did it by herself, your grandma did it by herself, it doesn't make it right.
Facts.
Right? Because also too, the children lack. Especially when you're raising a young boy, right? Even a girl, right? And that's the reason why these children, they be so confused. You have young boys that are so confused because
Right.
they don't have a male figure in their life.
Right.
So they're basically piggybacking off of mama's energy and not dad's energy,
Right.
right? Then you got the young girl in there. She's seeking love,
Yeah.
right? She's seeking that love, and she don't have daddy in the household to kiss her, to tell her, sweetie, you're beautiful, you're
Yeah.
smart,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just all these
sure.
all these sweet things,
For sure.
right? So, and that's why it's so important
Right.
as humans,
Right.
as male and female, that we protect our children, and
Yeah.
we show them a healthy, loving home.
Right.
Right?
And let me go back to we brought up mom in this comment
Right.
well, earlier with her, you know, making emphasis on the importance of having a male in the
Yes.
house. I'll say this about our mom, although like she raised us on her own rather, but one thing she didn't do was talk down or talk bad about our dad.
Never.
And she didn't keep us away from our dad. So I'll say that about my mom, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely
did.
right. She was big
Right.
because matter of fact, when you had Micah, I know that was like one of the happiest moments of your life.
Yes, of course.
Yes, we
Of
were
course,
so happy.
Of course.
We were so happy.
You remember when I called you and gave you the news? You would have thought he was the baby daddy, okay?
Right,
Because
right.
this guy cried. Well, being that he doesn't have, you know, a son of
son,
his
yeah,
own,
yeah, yeah.
so that's why I call him Uncle Daddy.
Right.
You know, because my son, it looks similar. Like he looks
Yeah.
like my brother.
We
Like
got
you
the
would
same
think that.
blockhead.
Yeah. Okay, as you guys can see this beautiful box, ladies, if you want to impress your man, shout out to Lamborghini. This is a beautiful package. The bottle, also beautiful golden bottle. So if you want to impress your man, let me get back in the mic. If you want to impress your man, it may set you back, you know, a couple of $100. But hey, if he's worth it, there you have it. Father's Day already passed, but if his birthday is coming up, Christmas, do it, ladies. I mean, we already unboxed it, you know. Everything is already set on the table, but it does come in a beautiful package. You know, unfortunately, like I said, everything is already set up here. But as you can see, it shows Lamborghini. Everything is here. So, ladies, again, impress your man. Okay? You can say, baby, I got you a Lamborghini. I got you a Lamborghini. Lamborghini wine set.
Shout out to Lamborghini. Tap in with Lamborghini. Hey, if I had a choice to get a drink, it'd sure enough be Lamborghini. It tastes good. It's very smooth. And also, too, I'm not promoting drinking, but drink responsible.
From Block, he had the same big round head like my
Right.
brother, you know?
Right.
So, like, it was just, wow. Like, when I found out that I was having a son, because although he's the youngest, but he can still protect his sisters.
Correct.
Irregardless. Because I even see it now, like, how he protects his sister, the one that comes, you know, but well,
The
second,
middle child.
yeah, the middle
Yeah,
child,
the
the,
middle
the
child.
one that's closest in age with him. Like I see, like when we go places and people will mess with her, and he'll like, leave my baby alone. Like he's very protective of his sister, even at that young age,
Right.
you know. So that's why I was like very happy because I know that at least, you know, although my girls are older than he is, but at least he'll be able to still give a male perspective
Right.
on just life in itself,
Right.
you know, because let's look at it like this. Well, since I'm on the topic of like a young male, I remember it was like this video that went viral, like on Instagram, social media, whatever. And it was this young boy who was like at a dance with his mom, and his mom was twerking on someone, and he was not liking it. You know, he was being very, very protective of his mom. Like, even though his mom may looked at it like, oh, it was nothing, but being that he's still a male, he still wouldn't want to see his mom. Just like you said, protect your sister. You wouldn't want to see your sister in like a certain situation, you know? So that's why I'm like, you know, we still have to, you know, put our men on a pedestal. I know these days it's like, I'm a strong black woman. I'm a strong woman. I'm this, I'm that, whatever. But listen, for me, I'm going to stay in my feminine energy because when I want things done around the house, look, babe, can you build this? The kids need this done. Babe, my car, like, you know, my tire flat, something happened. I need a man to do that. I'm not doing it, you know, like I'm just not doing it.
And I could tell
know?
you absolutely right because I see it. Because matter of fact, I would have conversations with you, sis. I'd be like, yo, I'll call you. I'll be talking to you. I'd be like, sis, boy, you run this, boy. I see it, man. Like whatever you. It's not. I don't mean it in that way. I don't mean it in that way. Meaning, I don't mean it in like you. Not like that. Meaning like when you tell him, look, man, I need this taken care of. He take care of it, and I'm like, wow, that's dope.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? That's cool and stuff because I see you. You know what I'm saying? Like. Not saying that you like I see life is easier for you.
Right, of course.
It's easier for you. You know, with 2-parent household.
Yeah.
You know, Mitch is leading the pack or whatever, and you just relaxing your feminine energy.
Yeah.
But you was always feminine anyways.
Right.
Right? Because femininity is not a button you can turn on and turn off. You either that or you not.
Right.
As simple as that.
Exactly.
It's just like a man say, "Nah, I'm gonna be a man today. Tomorrow, I'm
Right.
not gonna be a man. I'm gonna
Right.
be a boy."
Right.
It don't make sense. Like
Right.
when I hear these conversations, "Oh, I'm gonna only be feminine only for the right man."
Right.
What? What are you
Right.
talking about?
Yeah.
You either feminine or you're not.
For sure.
You either a man or you're not.
For sure.
There's no on and off button.
And tone is everything, ladies.
Yes.
Tone is everything.
Yes.
You know, because my husband recently said to me, he was like, you know, I just can't deny you, you know, from certain things because it's the way that you ask me. You know, you got to rub his head a little bit, ladies, you know, rub his head a little bit and ask him, you know, gently, babe, can you do this? You know, don't pressure him, you know, just, babe, can you do this? I need this to get done. You know, he'll understand in a calm and toned manner. Okay, ladies, just a little pointer.
And also the safety aspect of it too is very
course.
important.
Yeah.
Because I know when you in the household at nighttime or whatever, you by yourself, at least you know your husband is there. You don't have
Right.
to worry about safety because you know you have a male guidance there.
Yes.
Right. And I think a lot of sisters, a lot of women, they don't know how important that is. Right.
True.
Because if an intruder is coming through your door, who do you want to be protecting the household?
Man,
The
of course,
man.
I'm pushing him.
Yeah.
Babe.
Right. I know there's gonna be some women. Oh, I have
They
a
got
concealed. Who cares about that? What if
Right.
that intruder get in there? You know what I'm saying? You may not even hear the intruder.
Right.
Get in. Would you want to go in there and go wrestle with that intruder?
Definitely not.
Right. You want a
Definitely
man
not.
to handle that.
Of
right.
course,
When
of
you
course.
have car problems, your battery go dead, your tires flat. You want the man to handle all of,
Of
that.
course.
Right.
Of course.
And that's why it's important. And also going back to like we said, for the children.
Yeah.
To steer the children in the right direction. You know, kids need to see a male presence
Right.
at all times.
Right.
I understand mothers are the nurturers, the moms are the one that, you know,
Yeah.
but also, you know, not saying that because sometimes mom allow kids to get away with
And you know what?
getting
It's
away
funny you
with a
say
lot of
that because
things.
my husband
Right.
say that. But
Right.
here's the thing: like, we come from two different eras. He's a little older than I, right?
Right.
So we come from two different eras. So he is a little bit more stern, ironclad, or whatever, and I'm like very nurturing. I mean, well, I
You
am
are, you are,
nurturing. I'm
you are,
very nurturing.
you
He
are.
think I'm soft, but I'm not.
You are.
You know, I just feel like, you know, you don't have to spank kids for everything, although he doesn't, because, you know, we had that conversation. But I don't believe in spanking a child for everything. I feel like, you know, you can speak to a child to tell them to do, you know, certain things. And that's where we differ. But I'll say this, like, although our opinions differ, our parenting style differ, but the one thing I don't do, like, let's just say if he disciplines our kids a certain way, like, I will not intrude or say to him, but in front of the kids, I don't like the way you did this. You know, I won't, you know, because I don't want it to be like bad cop, good cop. Like, I'm the good parent, he's the bad parent. Like, I don't want it to be that way. I'll, like, you know, after he does whatever he does, then, you know, after he does disciplining the way he does, I'll say, babe, you know, I don't like, you know, this way, you know, sort of. Maybe you can make a little bit adjustment, you know, but I don't overstep him as a man, as a father, because at the end of the day, we are still both, you know, the parents to our
parents
children.
to children.
So, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely
I still
right.
let him be the man.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because I always tell you, sis, I'll be like, man, you like the second coming of mom.
Right.
Because the way you are with the kids, and I watch you, you know, the way you
Right.
interact with them, the way you treat them.
Right.
It takes me back like with mom when we were younger and how mom
Nostalgia.
used to treat us. Yeah, it's nostalgia. The way she used to treat us or whatever.
Yeah.
And mom used to always tell us to respect our father,
Of
our
course.
dad. She used to always tell us
Yeah.
that. Even I remember there used to be certain occasions when dad used to call me and I would buck his calls. And
Yeah.
my mom would be like, son, that's
Yeah.
your dad.
Yeah,
Pick up the phone and see what he wants.
exactly.
Don't do that to your dad. That's
Yeah.
your father. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, I want you to respect your dad.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about mom. Even though her and dad split,
Yeah.
but mom always emphasized, she made it very important that we kept a tight relationship with our dad. She never pushed us away
Right.
from our father and stuff.
But even more so, what you saying that, like, think about it, like with mom, if there was anything going on with us, my mom never left dad.
Yeah.
She never left dad out of the
Never,
dark.
never.
She would gather us all.
Yes.
With whoever the situation was with,
Yes.
she would bring it to my dad. However it was dealt with, is one thing, she never kept my dad out of like
the dark.
anything
Yes.
pertaining to us.
Yes.
Nothing at all.
He was always in the loop.
Yeah, yeah,
Always in the
yeah.
loop, right.
Always
and
in the
that's
loop.
very important.
Yeah. But you know what? With us even saying that, like if you think about, I know I keep bringing up all these old school 90s movies,
Nah, go
but
ahead, man.
even going back to what's that movie? Boys in the Hood. Boys in the
Yes,
Hood.
Boys in the
Okay.
Hood.
If you remember the scene with like Trey, when his dad, when his mom, she was like, there's certain things I can't teach him as a young man, and then she sent him to his dad, which was
Yeah.
Lawrence
Lawrence
Fishburne
Fishburne,
in the
yes,
movie.
yes,
You
yes,
understand?
yes, yes.
So again, it's like, we have to understand. I mean, even pointing out to that, how important it is, for a male role model, because she knew there was certain things that as a woman she couldn't teach her son. Just like myself, I know as a woman, there's certain things that I can't teach my son. The only thing I could give him, like perspective from a woman, like how to treat a woman, like certain things or whatever. But then again, he has his dad, he has his uncle daddy, to teach him certain things that I can't.
Yeah, but I like that, man. That was a good
Yeah.
that was a good example with the Boys in the Hood, because
Right.
if you looked at trade life in the movie, even though it's movie, it's Hollywood,
Right.
but it happens in real life. So when you look at Trey and you look at Doughboy and you look at Rick, and you could see like their lives, right? You could see Trey
Right.
had more structure in his life, even though he
Exactly.
didn't have a mom in the household.
Right.
But you see the importance of the dad. He had
Right.
masculinity.
You saw, but like
Right.
the part when he first
Right.
came to his dad's
The
house, he
house.
had him raking the field,
Field,
raking
correct.
the whatever
The yard.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
yard. Right.
Because his dad was laying down structure
Right.
in his life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you got to understand, when you establish structure, especially in a youth's life at that
Yeah.
young age, because they're disciplined,
Yeah.
and they know how to take structure,
Right.
especially if they're going into a working environment, whatever establishment they're
Yeah.
going into, they know how to take in structure because it was taught to them,
For sure.
especially at that young age.
For sure.
And you can see how Trey life turned around. He ended up going to college. He was with his girl,
Yeah.
and because he had masculinity
Exactly.
in his life.
Exactly.
So it's like in today's era, it's like being a masculine man or a masculine figure. It's like it's looked down upon. Like it's
Right.
like being a masculine man. It's like being a bad thing. Like what?
Right.
Like what are you talking about?
Right.
You need that masculinity and the
sure.
femininity to balance things out.
For sure.
You understand what I'm
For sure.
saying? Keep
For sure.
things balanced. Because without it, the family go down the rabbit hole.
Right.
So it's like today men are just taught to be soft.
Yeah.
You understand? Like
Right.
we're basically getting away from the eras of our grandfathers, our fathers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I remember when we were coming up as young kids, especially when we grew up in Little Haiti, in that area, the men, they were firm.
Yeah.
Right. If a child got out of pocket,
Yeah.
that whoever,
Yeah.
your dad's friend was allowed to spank you.
Yeah,
To get
yeah.
you right back in order.
You know what that made me remind me
Uh-huh.
of? Uncle Modi.
Oh my God. Remember him, right? You remember him, right? Yeah.
And that makes me think. That made me think also too. I'm gonna be quick though. With dad, you remember like when dad used to like shave his beard?
Oh, my
I mean
God.
his mustache, whatever. And then he'll
Boy,
be so mean.
mean, boy.
Remember that one time we was like on the block, we was crossing the street, and you saw him, and then you was like, "KK, run!" And I just froze like.
He froze, man. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
okay.
right. Hey, but it's funny you brought up Uncle Modia. Remember Uncle Modia was chasing me for
years.
years trying to spank
Thank
me.
you.
But he couldn't catch me. I was too fast, man.
Yeah,
Because he saw that I was heading in the wrong
wrong way,
direction.
yeah.
Because remember, mom used to work at night. She used to work the PM shift.
Yeah.
So of course, kids, we used to kind of be by ourselves.
Yeah.
So my uncle would see me riding my bike all over on the streets, no parent guidance
Yeah,
or anything
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So he would see me, he'd be like, "Yo, what's going on with him?"
yeah.
So he was trying to get to me, but I would always buck
Yeah.
or whatever. But
Yeah.
like I said, sis, you brought up some good points, man.
Yeah.
You brought up some good points
Yeah.
with having a strong man in a household
For sure.
with children.
Yeah.
It's very important, man.
For
And that's
sure.
the reason why children today, they lack love. They go to school and they bring violence to school or whatever. And when the counselors sit them down and talk to them, that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because they're not getting the love at home.
Right.
And also, too, I understand mommy is important, but daddy is important.
I agree.
That is important.
I agree.
Daddy is a beacon for the family.
I agree.
He's a beacon. You have some families when daddy transition, the family
It just falls apart.
it falls apart.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I understand they say, yeah, the black woman is the backbone of the family, but daddy is the beacon.
Right.
Daddy keep everything aligned and straight.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, sis, man, I want to thank you. I appreciate
Nothing
you.
I mean,
Right,
nothing new.
right.
The
but
norm. The norm.
The norm, exactly, man. Sis, man, I appreciate you for
Yeah.
coming on the show.
Thank you again.
Blessing the podcast.
again.
It's been a long time coming.
For sure.
You looking real good. My sis,
Thank
my
you.
twin, always looking good,
Thank you,
always
brother.
stylish. Hey, you know. But hey, folks, you know, I'm glad you guys been tapping in with me. I thank you for your continued support. You can follow me on all social media platforms. You can follow me on TikTok, Talks with AJ Podcast. You can follow me on my Instagram, Talks with AJ Podcast. You can also follow me on my personal Instagram, Desirable_AJ. And where can they find you, sis?
Poised _with _style and grace 20.
Podcast. That's all it is,
Yeah.
man. Thank you again, sis,
you,
man.
brother.
Bless.
Thank
I
you.
love you, man. And to my supporters, man, I love you guys. Thank you for continuing to rock with me, man. Peace. Nothing but love.
Peace.